testing. I'm not quite sure what I want to entitle this, but I think everybody experienced this if you live long enough. You start to see a significant, not a mild, but a significant change in people's behavior. You know, I remember when I was a kid, and this is not an older guy rant, it's just, you see the world as it is now, and it's like it's totally unrecognizable from the world that you had in your early life, in your teens or your 20s. And there's some things that should never go away or go out of style, or we don't do that no more. And that's being respectful, it's being honest, being caring. You know, there should never be a time in humanity that those things change. They shouldn't. You know, clothes change, hairstyles change, you know, music change, but some things should never change. I was in this store. I'm not going to name the name of it. I was kind of on the outskirts of town because I had to go over there to get something. And there was this young lady that worked there, and she was really loud. She was hollering, "Hey, I need some help." And I kind of looked around because I'm thinking she fell or somebody harmed her. You know, it's like, but apparently she needed work. She needed help from her co-workers or the manager. So as I got to the register, there was a guy in front of me. And she was talking to the manager who was behind the counter. And she was saying how she was hungry and she wants to take her break now. And she was quite adamant about being hungry because I'm thinking, well, maybe she's diabetic and, you know, you do have to eat, you know, a certain time and you can't wait. Because when I worked in corporate America, it was a gentleman that worked with me. He was diabetic and he was in his 20s. So I don't know if he had type 1 or type 2. And the difference between the two is type 2 you develop because you eat garbage all your life and nobody told you this kind of garbage to get you in this situation. Type 1, your pancreas never worked from day one. So you got to have insulin, which is what the pancreas does. It provides or pumps out insulin through the body. So when you got type 1, you know, it's a done deal. You got to have your insulin. You got to keep your blood sugar levels right. Even when you're type 2, you got to keep them right. If you don't, you can go to a diabetic coma and you could die. So it's that serious. So I'm thinking that might be her case because she was really adamant about she needs to eat. Because I'm like, you know, when you're healthy and don't have any health issues, you're just hungry. And you're not going to die from hunger unless you haven't ate in days or months. But, you know, you become a little cranky, you know, when you just haven't had your meal. And that's all that you would experience instead of, again, going to a diabetic coma or whatever. And your blood sugar levels dropping. So she kind of went back and forth with the manager about that. And I'm thinking that, well, maybe she's diabetic and she has to eat. Because, again, the coworker that I work with, he had to eat at a certain time. You know, my manager allowed him to go take his break and eat, you know, to keep his levels up. So I'm thinking that might be the same thing with her. So she was, again, quite boisterous. And then she said this to the manager. Because he said, I can't let you go now because you were late when you came in this morning. And she said this. And I couldn't believe she said this. She said it loud. Everybody heard her. And she didn't say it with a sense of anger or aggression, because when you get into a heated argument, you do let the expletives fly because you're angry. She wasn't angry. It was like she just talked to another dude on the street or another woman. She said this. "Fuck that." I'm like, huh? I couldn't believe what I heard. She was F that. And this is her manager. And she's had a couple other words. And then he said this. "You can't be saying that, you know, and out on the set." Well, you can't be saying the period. He was expressing. He said, "I'm about to have a talk with you in the office." And it was no big deal to her, you know. And I said, man, I thought I would never see the day that I would hear that. That's different when you get to a heated argument with your manager or somebody, and then you say these kind of words. And you say to yourself, when you decide to let go like that, I'm going to just end up getting fired today. And sometimes it's like, that's okay, because sometimes you have to express yourself to let people know where you stand and they don't take advantage of you. And you have to give up this job that ain't in your best interest anyway. But I didn't feel or got that vibe that's what she wanted on. Today I'm going to get fired because I got to go. I got to take it there. But she said it so casually and so leisurely. I was like, oh, wow. You know, have we gotten to this now? And then we're talking young women. This wasn't a dude with another dude. This was a woman saying this. I said, I thought I'd never see the day that people get that out of bounds when it comes to being on their job, talking to their boss. That's not accepted when you talk to another coworker, let alone your boss. And one of the problems is, because things are different now, your boss is 5 years older than you. When I worked at the largest food chain, the largest grocery store chain in the country, my boss was at least 20 years older than me. I was like 20, and my boss was like 39, 40. And that type of dynamics works because you respect your elders. You hold a higher level of respect to someone older than someone your own age. It's just that's how that works. So that's one of the problems in this day and era. Your boss 5 years older than you. You consider him a colleague as opposed to my superior. And I think that was one of the reasons, because I don't believe, and I could be wrong, that woman would, and she was in her early 20s, that woman would have said that to a 55-year-old manager, boss. I don't think she would have said that. And if she decided to go there, she quickly would have got terminated on the spot. Pack up your stuff, your locker, and you got to go. We'll send you your last check, because we don't accept that kind of behavior here at work. And then the customers hear this, So I was quite taken back, because I'm like, I guess we're at that place now. We're at that place. And we shouldn't be at that place. But we're at that place. And I say, actually, not even a block away, there was another business I went into to get some food before I came home. And they right next door to each other, actually. I didn't even think about that. And I went in there, placed my order, and this young lady came in. She couldn't have been on no more than about 19. She came in with a young guy. And I've seen this on TV, but I never seen it in person. And I hope I never see it again. And you seen that show Dukes of Hazzard and the Daisy Dukes, or her name was Daisy, whatever, and her shorts. Now, on TV, you did not see her butt cheeks. I mean, her shorts were really high, and she could pull it off because she had the body to pull it off. But you never seen the ass cheeks. This young lady that was at that place, ass out. I mean, little ass out. I was like, wow, what happened to parenting? There would have been no way that my mother would have let my sisters leave the house or even in the house dressed like that. And there's a lot of factors. And one of them is the people that they come home to, that they look up to raise them right, their parents. And unfortunately, we live in a day and age now that the daddy ain't in the house, your mom in the house who's 17 years older than you, living with her mother still. There's no man in the house to protect these girls because, they talk about how there's no father in the household for the young man. And they always mention the young man and how he's being cheated, which he is, because he deserves his father, and his father protect him and reprimand him if he does wrong. But nobody ever talks about how important a father is to the daughters. They're just as important, because one of the father's jobs is to run off no good clowns. The father knows that this young man is not going to be good for his daughter. He knows this. It's like, I remember being a teenager, and I remember the dudes that were like that, or maybe I was one of them dudes, so I know why I don't want you around here, to protect the daughter, to also let her know that men's supposed to respect women. Because I share this story, and I've said it before. When I lived in this complex when I was in Illinois, this guy came out his apartment. He was going towards his car, and his girlfriend was coming with him. She was behind him. And I said to myself, I kind of stayed back because I was about to leave. So I got to watch this. I'm going to see if he's going to do the right thing. So he got to the car, and I thought what he should have done was open up her car door first, make sure she was secure in there, close the door, and go around, get in the car. He got in the car first, slid over, and popped the lock. Now, when I tell people that they catch this, but they don't catch this, it's obvious they catch this part. Okay, well, he ain't been in the gym. Absolutely. Which means he wasn't taught to be one. But what most people fail to realize in that story, they didn't catch the other one. The fact that the young girl did not demand to be respected and want a gentleman. Because when you raise right and raise your daughters right, she would have said, hey, I need you to open the car door for me, before you get in. That's what a gentleman would do, as opposed to, that's fine. It's okay. He slid over and popped like, no, it ain't. But she wasn't taught because she didn't have her father in her household to let her know this is how gentlemen behave and this is how young thugs behave. And you don't want to be bothered with young thugs. You want to be bothered with a young man that has been raised right. Because many, many years ago, it was about your family. Does he come from a good family? And unfortunately, there's some people that they don't know. They have no idea about that. But it's just sad to see these types of things unfold as you get older and say, man, what happened to this? What happened to this? When did this die? When did they stop doing this? Or when did they start doing this? Because I was just having a conversation with my wife, and we talking about, all this gang violence and this gun violence. And there was at least one place that you were safe almost 100% in your car on the expressway. You don't worry about getting killed other than the car accidents. But you would have never thought in your wildest dreams that you can get killed on the expressway by another dude in his car. He rolled the window down, started shooting at you. What is this, the Wild West? And then you run the risk of having an accident yourself that you're just stupid and you're out here rolling windows down 70 miles an hour shooting at people. I would have never thought that would have taken place, because again, you say to yourself back then, I'm safe here, with the exception of watching out for people drunk on the road and, swerving into my lane or causing an accident. I end up getting injured or killed. But you never would have thought that you would get shot in your car moving at 50, 60, 70 miles an hour. It's just insane. But this is the world we live in now, And it's quite sad and it's quite alarming. Because again, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to sign off. You don't expect nothing to stay the same. You expect to see mild changes instead of, this is $2 today. Tomorrow it'll be $7. What happened? What's with this big hike? Instead of, okay, it's going to be $2.05 tomorrow. Instead of $4, $5, $6, And that's the example I make as far as how things are. 1 minute it's like this. A couple of days later it's like this. And it's just totally out of control. So, it is what it is. And it's just sad that it is what it is. And a lot of times these days, it's these little kids getting killed. Now people can't wait to take you out when you got your kids and your family in the car. It's like there's going to be a time he's going to be by himself. Then you get him. That's what they used to do back in the 80s in gangs. They waited. Now they just shoot and kill everybody. And then the sad part is, and then I'm going to sign off, the majority of the people that they thought that those were the people they was looking for, not even the people. Some other guy that had no gang affiliation. He's not a gangbanger. He's not the guy you're looking for. He's just out with his family at a fast food place trying to get a meal for his family, and you shooting up in his car and you kill his child. This is sad, So I'm going to leave you guys with that, and I'm going to sign off now. Till next time, take care and thanks for watching.